sun's out and I feel extremely motivated right now, especially because it's just the start of spring. Summer's coming soon. It just feels nice. But I did want to kind of make this video because it's something that I personally witnessed, experienced, and maybe it's happened to you as well. But it's just sometimes the feeling of when you get motivated and then you kind of don't live up to that motivation. And what I mean by this is sometimes when I was watching a motivational video or listening to someone that just hyped me up, someone's giving me some good advice, really got me in the mood, got me hyped up. For the next day or two, I would be on like high functioning, super productive, super motivated. And then after like 2 days, it would go back down to the baseline. I would just go back to normal. And I think it's very important that we understand kind of why and how we can stay motivated for a very long period of time. And it's something that I've been implementing in 2023, this year. That's seemed to be working for me so far. And I kind of wanted to share it. But yeah, I don't know if you've ever had those days where like you've watched something, you've taken in information, or you've taken in something that's given you a feeling, an emotion, where you're like super heightened and you're super motivated to get something done. You've set yourself a big goal and you're ready to conquer it, but then a couple of days later it's just back to normal. And the way I start to like change this habit is to understand, first of all, when I am super motivated. So whenever I do feel that motivation, I really hone in on that emotion and I really focus that, okay, this is how I'm feeling at the moment. Let's see how long it can last, how long I can keep it going. And what happens when I think about this in this particular way is I just become way more aware of my feeling and my emotions, so then I can understand when it starts to dip. Because before I'd have this really good feeling of being motivated, but then when it goes, but I was just not really aware of it. So by channeling that awareness into like your day-to-day feelings, you just start to understand how you can navigate through feelings of being motivated, but also feelings of being in a slump or just like normal, you're just in your baseline. And in terms of what kind of steps you can take to keep moving, I don't know about you, but I personally I love to give myself big goals, and maybe you've done the same. But a big goal without direction, it's just a goal. And without kind of clarity on what you have to do, the steps you have to take to get to that goal, it's just a dream. If you don't have that, it's just a dream. It's just another emotion. It just gives you that hype inside. And this is what you kind of want to avoid. You don't want to avoid just feeling good. You want to be able to, keep that emotion constant through weeks, through months, maybe through years, depending on how big your goal is. And I'll give you an example, So this is kind of vain, but I just want to be truthful here. I've always wanted to have visible abs. I know I've got some abs, but like the one area of where I store the most body fat is my stomach, and especially my lower belly, which it's called stubborn belly fat, which is apparently meant to be one of the hardest to kind of remove. And last year I really wanted to get a six-pack, or like as close to a six-pack as I possibly could before I went on holiday in the summer in Mexico. And I wanted to get a six-pack, but I gave myself 6 weeks. So I think it must have been like this time last year actually, where I was doing cardio, I was kind of watching my diet, trying to get this six-pack. But it was more so I was thinking about the goal rather than what I actually needed to do. And I was thinking so heavily on like, oh man, it would be so nice to have a six-pack just to take some pictures on the beach, whatever. But I was thinking way too much. My focus was way focused on that and not on what I have to do now, like right now. What do I have to do that can help me get to that? And because of that, I did lose some belly fat, but I didn't get the six-pack that I actually wanted. And I just had to I wanted it to be kind of effortless, just there, rather than me actually having to tense, for every step I took on the beach, or like every time I took my shirt off and by the pool, I had to tense. No. Sorry, I just had to tell that guy that I was going into the gym. But yeah, my point is that I was way more focused on the end goal without even having the clarity of what I needed to do now to get to there, if that makes sense. So this year I do basically have a similar kind of goal, but I'm not really I just want to get a six-pack, or at least it's not really a six-pack actually now. I just want to, I'm still storing a bit of belly fat down in my lower, or you could say stubborn belly fat, and I kind of want to make sure that I can lose some of that before then. And yeah, and the problem is I don't want to have a repeat of last year where I was just thinking about the goal too much, because I am going to go on holiday in 9 weeks from now. So it would be nice to, tone down. I'm not really focused, like I said, on the six-pack, but more so I just don't want to tense every single time I'm out. That's just too much effort. So I just want to be able to not tense, but just be comfortable. And I think I can get to that stage. But the problem I made last year was focusing too much on the goal. I'm not going to make that problem now. And instead, I know I've got just over 9 weeks, so I'm taking action right here, right now. As soon as you're watching this video, I'm just about to go to the gym. And I think it's very important to have these actionable steps. And one of the ways that I've wanted to kind of keep the momentum going throughout, so through the 9 weeks, 3 months, whatever you want to call it, is this point I'm about to make right now. And it's something that I've just recently implemented, and I've found it really, really useful. And all you need is a phone, a mobile phone, and I'm sure you've obviously got a phone. Maybe you're watching this on a phone, it can be on a tablet. To be fair, it could even be on a laptop you can use, but I think a phone, because you have your phone everywhere you go, you use your phone every day, it's the one device that you're always on compared to maybe other devices. And yeah, it's basically a necessity, right? And about the phone is the lock screen. It sounds weird, but it's a lock screen. I normally have pictures of, I normally just have a quote on my lock screen that just says, keep the end goal in mind. But I have a different approach now. I think depending on what kind of goal you have, maybe it's just a 1 week goal, maybe it's a 3 month goal, maybe it's a goal that you want to achieve by the end of the year. But I sometimes like to divide my goals into quarters. So the first quarter of the year, I'd have a goal. The second quarter of the year, which is now, I have my holiday goal. The third quarter of the year, I'd have another goal maybe. And the fourth quarter of the year, I'd have something else. Or it could be the same goal. You might have a big goal in mind, but then you can break it down into 4 actionable steps. So how that would kind of look like For example, let's say I want to hit, I don't want to give a fitness example just because it's quite easy to give a fitness example and I've already given a fitness example, so I want to try something else. Okay. I'm going to say, let's take YouTube, for example. Let's say I want to hit 1,000 subscribers, or you want to hit 1,000 subscribers on your YouTube channel by the end of the year. So what do? You can wish for it. You can just be like, oh, I'd love to have 1,000 subscribers. I will keep making videos, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But that's very it's not specific enough for you to actually have a goal that you can follow along throughout the end of the year. When the end of the year comes, you're going to be like, but I've made these videos and I didn't hit 1,000 subscribers because it wasn't specific. So maybe if you split that massive goal into 4 sub goals. So maybe, I don't know what your YouTube channel could be about. Maybe it's about skateboarding. Let's say it's about skateboarding. Maybe you're someone you've never really skateboarded, but you're learning to skateboard. First quarter of the year, you could have the goal of learning to do a kickflip. I honestly, I know a kickflip is so difficult and it's just it's a hard move, but maybe you could, first quarter of the year, let's say you're just learning the basics of skateboarding. Your goal is to be able to freely, comfortably skateboard by yourself, easy. And then you can document that process. And then you can also say, I want to make 10 videos on my start to the journey of skateboarding. My second quarter of the goal, so April, May, June, by the end of June, I want to be able to do my first ever trick, an ollie or a kickflip. And the third quarter of the year, keep in mind you're still documenting this. The third quarter of the year, I want to be able to make really cool YouTube videos, get my thumbnails, very consistent, be able to edit videos nicely, but also share my journey. And this is just a really quick example, but the idea is you've broken a massive goal down into 4 quarters. And how does the phone come into play in this case? Well, it's simple. Every quarter, have your lock screen a certain picture. Because the moment you wake up, if you use your phone, whenever you're on the train or whenever you're walking, you turn on your phone, whenever you see a text, you see the lock screen. Every single time you turn on that phone, the first thing you see is your lock screen. So if you have your goal as your lock screen or something that reflects your goal, you're constantly putting into your mind that, you know what, you're reaffirming to yourself that this is what I want to get out this quarter. Every single day you're seeing this, right? So you're not having these moments of hyped motivation and then it peaks at one point and then day 2 it goes back down. No, you're having to see this goal every single day. When you see this goal every single day, you have the opportunity to now be accountable. And you can say to yourself, oh no, I haven't really made much progress today on my goal, so there you go. Whose fault is that? Or you could say to yourself, you know what, I've done this step, I've kept this in mind, there you go. And this accumulates, by the way. By the end of the quarter, you're going to see a massive shift in progress. For me, this quarter, I'm going to be going on holiday to Greece, and I've taken a picture of one of the Greek islands, which I'm going to, as my holiday lock screen. So every time whenever I wake up, I'm like so motivated to go to the gym. I haven't had food at the moment, and I'm just, you know what, screw it. I'm going to the gym in the morning. I want to work out. I want to be in a position where I can, when I'm on my holiday, I feel good, but I want to be able to take the steps right here, right now. So every quarter, just change your lock screen to a picture that you feel like that could reflect on your goal. that you can really relate to, that you want to achieve by the end of the quarter, and stick to it and keep it there. It's actually as simple as that. It's nothing too serious. And with the breakdown of goals, I think you could definitely be on your way to achieving them a lot faster, and because it's always in your mind. Let me know how you think about that. But yeah, it's something that I've been doing recently, and I've just felt so motivated. And it's not like a 1 or 2 day motivation. This has been for weeks. But I wanted to share it. Let me know what you think.